Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about bilateral ties between India and Canada. Not an important editorial, but you can learn a few words and grammar point of view we'll try to focus on. Simple language, not that difficult. Let us go to the editorial vocabulary and not too many words, only a few words. And today you're going to work on error location. I have brought practice questions based on exam topics. You're going to work on idioms. You're going to work on phrasal verbs. So what is the first one? The first one over here is ramp up. Ramp up is a phrasal verb. Increase the level or amount of something sharply. It also goes with production. More production, increase the level or amount of something sharply. Then we use the phrasal verb ramp up. Ramp up production, one of the expressions you have to remember. Outreach, it is a noun. An effort, it has many meanings. An effort to bring services or information to people where they live or spend time. This is one meaning. Another meaning of outreach, to reach a lot of people. Those who are in the remote areas, you try to reach them. Then also reach out, outreach, related words. Accelerate, I'm sure you all know the word acceleration. That is a noun form. And accelerator also noun. Accelerate, part of speech verb, to happen or make something happen sooner or faster. To happen or make something happen sooner or faster. Accelerate, you can also think of the word speed up. And there's one important word, expedite, means same meaning, speed up. Deteriorate, part of speech verb, deterioration, noun form. To become worse, something from bad to worse, it deteriorates. That is an important one. Disastrous, disastrous result, adjective. But what is a noun form? Disaster. Extremely bad or unsuccessful. It was a disaster. That's a very good word. Exacerbate. Make something worse. Disruption, disruptor, we have got many a time. Causing trouble and therefore stopping something from continuing as usual. Interrupt. Disrupt means interrupt. So disruptive in nature, an important word. Pluralism, this goes with a society, a country. The existence of different types of people who have different beliefs and opinions within the same society. Plural, many. But if the society is divided into two groups, specific ideas, then we say bipolar, two poles. Here, pluralism, many ideas, many groups, many beliefs. Diversity, I'm sure you all know that word. Here, diversify, part of speech verb, to start to include more different types of things. You try to include different things, or if you take a particular company, initially one product, later they try to diversify, means what they try to produce different products. Then we use the word diversify. Flurry is a new word we have got for the first time. A sudden short period of activity, excitement, or interest. In the context of the editorial, activity. You can also take interest. Sort out is a phrasal verb. What does it mean? To separate one type of things from a group of things. To separate, sort out. Usually this goes with problems. It goes with files. It goes with papers. Sort out the files means separate the files, one meaning. And sort out your problems. There it means find a solution to your problems. Sort out the problem means find a solution. Resurgence is an important word. I think we have got after a gap of so many months. The return and growth of an activity that had stopped. But actually, I give the meaning resurgence. It means a rebirth, coming back to life. A referendum goes with polity, an important word. A vote in which all the people in a country or an area are asked to give their opinion about or decide an important political or social question. The government does not take the decision. They pose the question to the people, and based on the majority, a lot of people say yes for a particular problem or no for a particular decision. That is known as referendum, and this goes with polity, political science. Leap has got many meanings. A typical meaning, jump. And here, in the context of the editorial, to increase, improve, or grow very quickly. Vandalism, another important word. Sometimes you may get at the passage, but chances are not that, chances are meager. Vandalism is a problem, social problem. What does it mean? Part of speech noun. Vandalize, verb form. The crime of intentionally damaging property belonging to other people. Not exactly. Vandalism, usually we say the act of damaging public property, especially tourist places, monuments. If you visit a particular monument, you may see parts of it damaged or graffiti or something written on the monument and damaged. Then we use the word vandalism. And whenever there are clashes, public resort to vandalism. Typically, it goes with public property, not other people, public property, especially tourist places, monuments, all these. Diaspora, an important word. I think we have got for the. Let me know. Fine. No issues, I suppose. I want you guys to respond. Thank you very much, Uday Kumar. I will respond to that later. 4 jobs, that is great. Congratulations at the outset, and glad to know that. Great, that is really great. 4 jobs, one shot. Outstanding, impressive. All of you, please look at that comment. Uday Kumar, he says he got 4 jobs at the outset. Congratulations and great. For a few seconds, there was a problem. So here, diaspora, Indian diaspora in the US, Indian diaspora in the UK, an important word. Prolong, we have got many a time, part of speech verb, to make something last a longer time. In a way, prolong means extend. Sometimes what happens, a particular session supposed to be closed in half an hour, they take for 60 minutes or 1.5 hours. Then we say the session got prolonged. Flag has got different meanings. As a noun, I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word flag. I don't have to tell. But here it is a verb. As a verb, also, it has many meanings. In the context of the editorial, to warn or tell people about something that is important or is a problem. Something is not easy to deal with, or there's a bottleneck or some sort of hurdle, then we flag it. It's an important word as a verb. Pitfall, another important word, part of speech noun. Pitfalls, plural form. A likely mistake or problem in a situation. A problem, usually in a particular situation or a particular deal, there are pitfalls. There is a pitfall, means some problem in the deal or in the situation. So these are the words from today's editorial. Some of that is really inspiring. Others, they have to read that comment, and highly inspiring. Great. That's what I tell a lot of my students. See, if you go in the right direction, see here what happens. Almost all the students are intelligent, they are diligent, means hardworking. But why only a few get the selection? They know the exam approach. Besides being intelligent and diligent, you have to know the exam approach. That will make all the difference. And when something is not easy for others, you master that, then you have the competitive edge, and the chances are very bright to get the selection. That is what precisely I call exam approach. You don't have to read everything, but you have to read at any cost what is essential. That is what we call exam approach. A quick reset on India's G20 presidency. So, a quick reset, resetting something. So, something happened in the past and perhaps it did not work. Now they're trying to correct it, a reset. And what is it about? Though it says India's G20 presidency, but if you go through the editorial, you come to know it is all about bilateral ties between India and Canada. So, what is the main idea of this editorial? India and Canada are looking at the big picture as a put behind misunderstandings. That is the reason why reset. Something went wrong in the past. Now they're trying to correct. So India and Canada bilateral ties are looking at. I would like to reiterate whatever you see underlined, important from grammar point of view, and whatever you see in red, important from vocabulary point of view. Are looking, this is in present continuous tense. As a put behind misunderstandings, here it is in past. They put behind. And this is an irregular verb. Irregular verbs, they don't take D or ED, but there is a separate category. They also come under irregular verbs. They have the same form, uh, present form, past participle form. It is the same. And some you have to recollect. Put, cut, everyone knows. But exam point of view, when you see a word like this, to be a smart learner, you have to recollect words like telecast, broadcast, and cost, and also hurt. They have given these many a time. Cast, telecast, broadcast, cost, and also hurt. As India ramps up, here India is a subject, third person singular, sentence is in present tense, affirmative form. So we should add S or ES to the verb. So ramp, ramps up. We have to add S over here. As India ramps up, what does it mean? Increase the level or amount of something sharply. Put in more effort in the context of the editorial. As India ramps up its international outreach. Outreach, an effort to bring services or information to people where they live or spend time. In a way, reaching them. We can also use the word outreach here as a verb, as a noun, and reach out as a phrasal verb. In the year of its G20 presidency, better ties with Canada are clearly on the agenda. Here, better ties with Canada are clearly, it is in present tense, on the agenda. That means a list of things to be done. The word agenda goes with a meeting. At the start of the meeting, people ask, what is the agenda? Means the topics to be discussed in the meeting. On the agenda for the government, with the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar hosting Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly for bilateral talks in New Delhi. Here, today, I would like to highlight the grammar part more because the language is not that complicated and information is very simple, easy to comprehend. So, I would like to focus more on grammar part to make it more effective. Here, hosting, host, and what? Imagine there's a party, someone throws a party, then we call that person host, and the person who goes to the party a guest. I'm sure you all know, but from this, based on this word, you have to recollect words like hostage. When terrorists hijack a plane, then the passengers, they are known as hostages. And we call that situation hostage crisis. And in this context, you have to recollect, imagine all these go with crime. Someone has been kidnapped, and the person who has kidnapped, kidnapper, and once he or she kidnaps, they demand money. That is known as a ransom. And there's an interesting thing over here. Sometimes what happens, the person who gets kidnapped falls in love with the person who kidnaps. That is known as Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome means a person who has been kidnapped falls in love with the kidnapper. That is very strange. So, hosting Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly for bilateral talks in New Delhi. This visit of Mrs. Joly, who will be in Delhi again for the G20 foreign ministers meeting in March, and later again to accompany Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for the G20 summit. That means she is going to come 3 times. Will be followed by several other ministers for other G20 meetings who will be in Delhi. This is in future tense. And today, because I'm focusing on grammar, whatever you see, the moment I come to the underlined part, you can guess the tense. Will be followed. Here it is in future. They will follow something. Something will be followed. This is in passive voice. Another reason for the acceleration in relations is Canada's deteriorating ties with China. In the past, some sort of misunderstanding between India and Canada. Now they are trying to reset that. And one of the reasons, one reason G20 presidency, that is one thing, but another reason for the acceleration. Accelerate means to speed up. Acceleration in relation, ministers meeting. Why is it wrong? Ministers meeting for the G for, yes, here it could be. Who is this? Praveen Kumar. I appreciate that. Imagine a group of ministers are going to attend the meeting, ministers, plural noun. And you have to recollect a particular rule. What is that? That goes with apostrophe. If a plural noun ends in the letter S, then we have to use the apostrophe after the letter S. Ministers meeting, not one minister, more than one, then apostrophe should be after the letter S. That's really good. I appreciate Praveen. Good. So another reason, what is the other reason for acceleration to speed up in relations is Canada's deteriorating. Deteriorate means to become worse, ties with China. Perhaps in the past they had good ties. Now they are becoming worse, bad to worse. Then boys hostel, girls hostel. You have to recollect those examples. So here we have another comment selected as junior translation officer. Congratulations. Who is this? Hoshiar Singh. Glad to know that. Thank you. My pleasure. Very good. Congratulations. And all the best for your future. So, guys, have a look at that. And we have another student, Hoshiar Singh. He has got selected as Junior Translation Officer at LPSC and slash ISRO, both at Trivandrum. That's really good. ISRO Trivandrum. That's wonderful. Let me go back to the editorial. In November, Canada announced, in November means past, Canada announced, it is in past tense, its new Indo Pacific strategy that marked out China. In that strategy, they gave a tag to China, marked out China as an increasingly disruptive global power. Disruptive, a negative word. Disrupt means what? To interrupt, causing trouble, and therefore stopping something from continuing as usual. While referring to India as a critical partner, important partner, with shared traditions, shared ideas, traditions, ideology of democracy and pluralism. In Canada, also there's pluralism. India, obviously, India is known as a country of unity and diversity. We all know that. And pluralism. Then you may wonder what is a pluralism in Canada? You'll be surprised to know in Canada they use three languages: one English, second German, third French. So you have English people, French people, Germans, that obviously results in pluralism. In addition, Canada searched for new markets to diversify. One reason political, another reason economic. In addition, here you have to recollect besides. Besides, beside means next to. Besides, in addition to. In addition, Canada's search for new markets to diversify, enter different fields. Its considerable economic engagement with China coincides with India's push to conclude free trade agreements with many countries. So, free trade agreements with many countries, obviously, there will be an inclination to look at India rather than China, which Canada considers a disruptive global power. While officials have been working, so here it is in this part has been underlined. It is in present perfect continuous. While officials have been working to announce an early progress trade agreement this year, they are also hopeful of securing a comprehensive, we got this word yesterday, all inclusive, holistic economic partnership agreement soon. On the economic front, what they're planning. The flurry in bilateral activity. This word we have got for the first time. Flurry means what? A sudden short period of activity, excitement, or interest. The flurry in bilateral activity is in contrast to past developments. So in the past, it was not like that, some misunderstanding. To justify that, especially after Mr. Trudeau's disastrous India visit, disastrous negative connotation, extremely bad or unsuccessful in 2018, and his criticism of the Modi government's handling of the farmers' agitation in 2021 that led to the cancellation of diplomatic activity because he criticized Modi's government. Obviously, the impact of that led to the cancellation of diplomatic activity. The ties began, it is in past, the ties began to be reset. The editorial's main idea, resetting the bilateral ties between India and Canada. The ties began to be reset after he met Mr. Modi on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Germany last year. So, in that meeting, perhaps they tried to sort out the problems or misunderstandings. Several issues remain to be sorted out. Sort out means to find a solution, to separate two different meanings. In this context, to find a solution. Several issues remain to be sorted out. New Delhi has continued, it is in present perfect, to express concerns over the resurgence of Khalistani separatism. Right now in Canada, there's a problem. Indian point of view. What is that? Khalistan separatism. A resurgence of, there's an important word. Resurgence, usually I say, it means a rebirth, coming back to life. So for some time it was not there. Now again, people started talking about Khalistan, a separate country. In fact, Khalistani separatism, a resurgence of Khalistani separatism, and calls for a referendum amid the Sikh community. Referendum, you ask the public to decide what is good, what is bad, or what is right, what is wrong, and that is known as a referendum. It goes with polity. Amid means in the middle of the Sikh community in Canada, as well as incidents of vandalism. The sentence is about the concerns expressed by India. One, a resurgence of Khalistani separatism. Another, incidents of vandalism and violence targeting the Indian community there. Vandalism, destroying public property, and violence targeting the Indian community over there. In addition, Canadian pronouncements, public statement, to state something publicly, officially. Pronouncement means official statement. In addition, Canadian pronouncements on developments in India, including on rights and freedoms, can always set off diplomatic landmines. Means if they go a little off the track, that may result in some sort of bottleneck or some sort of misunderstanding. This has been a running thread in bilateral ties. This has been, it is again in present perfect tense, a running thread in bilateral ties, which have seen many ups and downs. So, not going smoothly, which have seen bilateral ties, plural. So, which have seen, again in present perfect, many ups and downs over the past decades, despite a massive Indian diaspora population and student links. Despite an important word, you have to recollect the rules. Common error, a lot of people say despite of. That is not right. Despite does not take the preposition of. Another error, I'm sure a lot of students know this, but another error, in spite of. People write in spite of as two words, but in spite of you should write as three separate words. Despite a massive Indian diaspora, those Indians who are settled in Canada, we call them Indian diaspora population and student links. Canada was among the first countries associated with India's nuclear program, but the relationship ruptured, means there was some problem after India's nuclear test in 1974. When ties began to improve in the 1980s, it was Indian anger over Canadian shelter to separatist Khalistani groups behind the 1985 bombing of an Air India flight. So initially it was good. Later there were problems. One of the problems, Canadian government gave shelter to separatist Khalistani groups, and these groups they were behind the 1985 bombing of Air India flight and the prolonged trial. They extended the trial for a long time. India was not happy. Relations were restored in 2010 with the visit of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to Canada and an agreement on civil nuclear cooperation and Mr. Modi in 2015. So first Manmohan Singh's visit, then Modi's visit. It was in 2010 and after that 2015. But they flagged after 2018. There was a problem because of Trudeau's visit. Flagged means as a verb, it has a negative connotation, not exactly, to some extent. To warn or tell people about something that is important or is a problem. This year, timing and intent seem on course, means going smoothly. For a leap means increase, improvement in ties which could bring strategic and economic gains. Strategic means related to defense, economic gains, provided there's a condition, provided both sides also focus on sidestepping the possible political pitfalls along the way. They should not consider certain political aspects if they ignore and political pitfalls mean some problems in a situation, then things will go smoothly. That's all about the editorial. Now let us go to comprehension based questions. What is this editorial about? If you write, that is better. What are clearly on the agenda for the government? Certain things are there on the agenda. What are they? What is another reason for the acceleration relations between India and Canada? What is in contrast to past developments in the context of the editorial? Past and present. Past misunderstandings and present something positive that you have to write. When did the ties between the two countries begin to reset? You have to mention the time. Easy to answer all these questions. Now let us go to questions based on exam topics, practice questions based on exam topics. I have brought 5 questions, error location. 4 questions, in my opinion, easy. 1 question difficult. So if you get all the 5 correct, you should be extremely happy. That I can say outstanding. So read each question carefully and try to spot the error. Question number 1. Such a judgment is based on the extent to which the budget helps in furthering the equitable access of all citizens for basic public goods. Here, Mauli says third part. Uday Kumar, if one student responds with the correct option, I will respond. I will give the answer. Very good. The clue for you, the word access. Access of all citizens. Actually, we tell students, the word access takes a preposition to, but in between you can have a phrase. So when you read a sentence like this, first you have to focus on the word access. After that, of all citizens, that is a phrase, don't consider. Then you ask a question, what is a preposition combination that goes with access? It is not for, it is to. Access to power, access to information, access to resources, access to authority, access to the minister. Typical combinations. Very good. I appreciate those who have got it right. Go to the next one. Question number 2. Maturity in a human is a duty to conduct himself in accordance with social norms under varying circumstances, irrespective of how the individual feels. First one, you got it right. I appreciate those who have got it right. A bit difficult. You have to read meticulously. I read the second one. Maturity in a human is a duty to conduct himself in accordance with social norms under varying circumstances, irrespective of how the individual feels. No one has responded. Looks like a difficult one. In my opinion, then no. 2 questions are difficult. First, I thought only one. This also I'll mark, not an easy one because no one has responded. Here, maturity in a human. Human is a neutral word. There is an error. This is not the answer. Human is a neutral word. Human can be a man, can be a woman. Then we cannot use the word himself. That is the error. Here we have to use the indefinite pronoun oneself. Maturity in a human is a duty to conduct oneself in accordance with social norms under varying circumstances, irrespective of how the individual feels. Why should we use himself? Human can be a man, can be a woman. We cannot use himself, gender. It is not correct. So we have to use the indefinite pronoun oneself. That is the right word. A tough question if you don't look at the word human. That is a clue for you. Please go to the next one. Question number 3. The two must go together for sustained growth over the medium term, which will be the answer to many India's socio-economic problems. Tricky one. Tricky in the sense you got to read meticulously. Only then you can answer. There is no other error. So please focus on question number 3. No one has responded. Sustained growth, nothing wrong. Sustained, to hold for a long time. There is no error over here. This is also a tough one, in my opinion. No, no. Together, nothing wrong. There is no error in the first part, no error in the second part, no error in the third part. There is an error in the fourth part. What is it? Will be the answer to many India's socio-economic problems? No. Will be the answer to many India's economic problems? No. Many of India's socio-economic problems. Here, the preposition of is missing. That is again not easy, rather difficult. There is only one error. So where is it? In the fourth part. To many of is missing. Nothing wrong with the possessive case. India's socio-economic problems, no problem. But you cannot say to many India's problems, to many of India's socio-economic problems. Looks like this is also a tough one. In addition to tax rate hikes, Budget 2023 has also focused on non-tax revenue mobilization, including rising revenue from revising the royalty rates of minor minerals and increasing the user charges. I'm sure you'll get this right. Many of India's problems. Where is the error? Question number 4. Very good. Here, who is this? Hoshiar Singh. Very good. In addition to tax rate hikes, no problem. Budget 2023 has also focused, present perfect, no problem because there's no time, on tax revenue mobilization, including rising. Then you ask a question, rising or raising? How do you decide what? There's an object, revenue. Then you cannot use rising, you have to use the word raising. Rise is an intransitive verb, it cannot take an object. We have an object here. Then we have to use a transitive verb. Raise, raised, raised. So rise, rose, risen, that is not appropriate here because of the object. Raised what? Raising what? Revenue. Based on that, you cannot say rising, you have to say raising. Please go to the next one. Question number 5. Yes, raise is a regular verb. Besides, it is a transitive verb. Rise is an intransitive verb and also irregular verb. Who is this? Okay, Pranita, first one to respond. Question number 5. If you get this right, that will be a surprise for me. And you all have the same wavelength, same thinking. This is what I expect. And based on my expectations, you have been responding. No, 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 no. I'm waiting. About 10 students have responded, but no one has got it right. No. Answer is no error. You may ask why. If you see, when you read a sentence like this, please listen to me. This is not an easy one. This is the toughest one. When you read a sentence, you have to, a sentence like this, if you read, the moment you see should be, you think of passive voice. You should do that. It should be done by you. So here, should be done, should be read, should be. You expect the verb to be in past participle form. Any sentence in passive voice, the main verb is always in past participle form. So many students have responded lead, led, led. No. Here should be, if you take the word lead, listen carefully. It can be a verb. You all know it is a verb. It can be a noun. He plays, he is the lead. He has taken the lead, noun. And it can be an adjective. In this example, it has been used as an adjective. Should be, I will give a pattern. Should be intelligent. Should be a sort of clue. Should be a clue. But if you use as a noun, you have to use the indefinite article a or an. Here it has not been used as a noun. It has been used as an adjective. Then we don't have to use the article. No, it is not a noun. It is an adjective over here. Should be lead to an empowerment. I will give the similar pattern. Should be intelligent to do that. Should be intelligent. What is the word intelligent? Adjective. Intelligent person, adjective. Should be lead to an empowerment. This is really difficult. In my opinion, out of 100 students, 99 will say there's an error in the second part. But what is the answer? No error is the answer. I hope you guys got it. Let us go to idioms. SSC point of view, very important. That's one of the exam topics. So, okay, sir, please move on. Go to the next exam topic. Idioms. You have 5 idioms and 5 meanings you have to match. To lose one's job all of a sudden. Right now, there is a recession in the US, and this is what happening. Someone is talking over the phone. He gets a message, you lost your job. And it goes with HR people as well. That is really surprising. To lose one's job all of a sudden means what? Get the pink slip. Answer is D. Very good. Prevent a system from working smoothly. So what is the idiomatic expression for that? To see. Back to salt mines. No, no. Third one, yes, but not going in an order. Answer is, who is this? Lata, I suppose she has got it right. Prevent a system from working smoothly. Answer is, gum up the works. Stick means it doesn't go smoothly. Answer is E. To work very hard. Third one is rather easy. A. Sweat blood. An accountant or bureaucrat. An accountant or a bureaucrat. What is the answer? Bean counter. B is the answer. Back to the workplace. What are you left with? Back to salt mines. C is the answer. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? D, E, A, B, C. Very good. Next exam topic, phrasal verbs. Idioms are interesting, easy. Phrasal verbs difficult, confusing. And try to look at the options carefully. To discourage someone from doing something. Mandarin, you got the word the other day. An official with a lot of power. Big wig. Please go to phrasal verbs. Who is this? Lata has got all the 5 correct. That's wonderful. Highly appreciable. Good. That's really good. Please look at the phrasal verbs, which are a bit, to some extent, difficult. Who has answered? Sairam has answered. Then Pranita also. 1C. To discourage someone from doing something. Deter from. Very good. C is the answer. To try to find information by examining something thoroughly. You go deep into something and you try to get information and you examine. 2D, that's right. Divya, perfect. Delve into, go deep into something to get information. To get rid of something. I think we got this the other day in the editorial. Third one. So should not be that difficult. E. Do away with. Yes. Anu, that's right. Made at specific time or started at specific time. If you read the newspapers, quite often you come across the fourth one, made at specific time or started at specific time. So what does it mean? B, date back. Something dates back, goes back. So an important phrasal verb. B is the answer. To realize something for the first time. For that, there's one idiomatic expression, eye opener. Here, dawn on. You're left with A. So when you see the word dawn, you have to recollect the word dusk. They go hand in hand. Dawn, the time before the sunrise, and dusk, the time after the sunset. So dawn and dusk. And we use, sometimes we say, I'm working from dawn to dusk, means morning to evening. Let us go to the last slide. Test your word power. Editorial vocabulary. Ramp up. First, you have to write the part of speech. Then you have to write the meaning. Ramp up means what? Dawn to dusk. Exactly. Suresh, you're right. That's a standard expression. Here it is a phrasal verb, ramp up. What is the answer? Increase the level of. Usually it goes with production. E is the answer. Ramp up the production. Deteriorate has a negative connotation, part of speech verb. Means what? Deteriorating situation, deteriorating standards. H, to become worse. That's right. Disaster is also a negative word. Disaster, noun. Disastrous, adjective. Disastrous tour means what? No one has gone to the third one. I, extremely bad or unsuccessful. In the context of the editorial, unsuccessful. Disastrous. Disruptive. Disrupt verb. It's a regular verb. Disruptive actions, that means adjective. Try to make combinations, then you can get the part of speech. There won't be any ambiguity. So, what is the meaning of that? Causing trouble, and therefore it becomes difficult to progress. Interrupt in a way. Usually it goes with, we got this many a time last year when I did editorials related to uh, COVID 19, the pandemic, disruption of the supply chain. We got many a time that expression. Diversified, that means it's a verb. Diversification, noun. Oh, someone has gone to the seventh one. What about the fifth one? C. To start to include different things. That's right. C is the answer. Flurry is a noun. There is a flurry. There was a flurry. Noun. Means what? A sudden short period of activity, interest, any of these. G is the answer. Resurgence, an important word. Noun. Usually I give this meaning, so I have brought this meaning. Rebirth, coming back to life, resurgence, an important word. To get back the old glory. A leap, as it could be a verb, it could be a noun. As a verb, it has many meanings. In the context of the editorial, to increase or to improve. Answer is D. Vandalism, vandalize, verb, vandalism, noun. Means what? The crime of intentionally spoiling or destroying public property. That is a usage, not others' property, public property. Usage point of view. 9F, diaspora, noun. What are you left with? A group of people who move away from their country and settle in some other country. Answer is J. If you have got all the 10 correct, you should be extremely happy. That is outstanding, highly appreciable. That's all for today. Hope you guys have got enriched. Do remember to share, subscribe, and share.